Hello everyone! Today we have here the Gamesir Super Nova or Nova Pro. This is the first controller in the Nova series that I'm reviewing, and I'm curious to see how good it is. The USB dongle is very similar to the one in the Cyclone too. And here we have the dock. It's entirely made of plastic, but it has a pass-through hole in the back. You can stick the dongle in here and use the cable to connect to your computer. The dock will not only charge the controller, but also work as a receiver. And it's also very stable. The controller has rubber grips that extends to the front shell, and it feels very comfortable too. The back buttons have a different construction. It's very easy to press on the edges, and it becomes a bit harder to press as you move towards the center. The switches are very tactile, and it feels great to press. The switch in the back is used to change modes or turn off the controller entirely. And we have trigger stoppers without a micro switch. It just stops the triggers in place. The face buttons uses rubber membranes, and the buttons won't sink flat with the shell. The stick's shaft is made of plastic. It doesn't have an internal restriction gate, but it does have anti-friction rings. The Dpad also uses rubber membranes, and it also has a good resistance. The menu buttons uses mechanical switches. The shutter buttons uses rubber membranes, and they're pretty easy to press at any region. The design is very similar to the Dualsense controller. Also, the Nova Pro has a removable faceplate. When removing it, you have to be careful because the buttons are loose and they can fall off. The good thing is that you can change the button layout to whatever layout you want. But notice that the X and Y buttons won't fit in the A and B slots, and vice versa. The sticks are removable, and we can see Gamesir's TMR module. Also, I'd like to point that they lost a golden opportunity here to add an internal restriction gate. The internal space is perfect, and with just some adjustments to the shell, they could have added it. Instead, they rely on the anti-friction rings, which are not bad, but definitely are a step below the internal restriction gate. Gamesir also sells additional faceplates if you want to change it. When turned on, this controller has RGB lights. And when charging, the lights will interact with the dock. When you pick it up from the dock, it will automatically turn on and pair. And here's the different RGB modes. The multiple connection modes can be accessed with different button combinations. It can wake up the switch, and it has motion controls. The button layout is in the correct order for the Nintendo Switch. But I have changed the button order before, so let's fix that. The rumble is just a regular rumble. And the rumble intensity can be adjusted. And the Dualsense mode works with the PlayStation Remote Play app. Testing on PC, we have a small dead zone in the center. There's no cardinal snapping. The outer dead zone is pretty small too. And the circularity is perfect. The stick resolution is of 180 steps. And we have an option to remove the dead zones entirely. The Dpad is pretty good. The diagonals are easy to hit. And the input is pretty consistent. And there is a pivot in the center preventing you from hitting all 4 directions. The button layout can be changed with a button combination as well. There is a turbo mode, but you cannot change the turbo speed. The triggers are analog triggers. And if you flip the switch on the back, it will behave like a digital button. And there is also a hair trigger mode. Recording macros is super easy, and the LEDs are very helpful with that. And holding start and select lets you change between the different connection modes. The Gamesir Super Nova is compatible with the Gamesir Connect app. In the app, you can change the configurations for the lights, the vibration intensity, the trigger settings. You have simulated gyro. You can change the stick settings. And on the Buttons tab, you can customize the buttons, as well as enabling keyboard keys and even mouse buttons. The latency results is slightly disappointing, especially when the Cyclone 2 has such a good performance. Moving to the teardown, we have 7 screws under the faceplate. Then you have to unclip these clips and then remove the back shell. The construction of the back buttons is pretty good. The rumble motors are soldered in, and the switches for the back buttons are high quality. The battery has 1000 mAh of capacity. And here's the mechanism for the trigger stoppers. On the front of the shell, we can see the membranes for the Dpad and face buttons. And the TMR modules from Gamesir. The triggers are well constructed and it has a metal pivot, ensuring a long durability. Overall, the Gamesir Super Nova is pretty good. The buttons and D-pad are very nice. The sticks have a good performance, and the triggers are also pretty good, even though they won't have a micro switch response with the switch enabled. It is comfortable, and the rubberized grip adds a premium quality. The back buttons are also very nice, and it has multiple connectivity modes for any device you want to use it. The only con is the latency, which is slightly higher than other models. Other than that, it is a very good controller and it has my thumbs up. And that's it for today's review. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.